Joining us now to help commemorate and honor those brave souls that stormed the beaches at Normandy 81 years ago today, historian and author William Federer. William, so nice to see you again. It was Operation Overlord, I believe, and it was a massive success, even though we lost so many brave souls. I thought fitting to have you on to honor them today, William.
Well, it was the largest seaborne invasion force in world history and the largest that will ever be, because with satellites, you'll be able to tell if there's a force assembling. It was 13,000 aircraft, 5,000 ships, 195,000 Navy personnel. It was a 50-mile stretch of beach. And it was Operation Overlord. And I had an uncle that died in that operation, Billy Epperson. Was my mom's only brother, and I grew up seeing his portrait on my mom's dresser every day. But it was, again, the turning point in the European war. Sevastopol was the turning point on the Eastern Front, where 1 million people died. Midway was the turning point in the Pacific War. But the D-Day landing is considered the turning point of Europe. And Reagan, at the 40th anniversary of D-Day, talked about the Rangers that climbed the cliffs and were being shot at, and only 90 of them survived. There were 225 Rangers that climbed those cliffs.
Yep. To get rid of the guys in the bunkers. Yeah, they depicted that for folks that aren't familiar with history. If you've watched Band of Brothers, if you've watched Saving Private Ryan, you will see sequences in these TV series and films that depicted to the best of their ability. And I remember seeing some of the interviews, William, from some of the survivors of Normandy that watched that film and that miniseries that Tom Hanks put out. And they said that was as close to what we went through, the hell that we went through. I mean, those Higgins amphibious vehicles, I don't know why somebody didn't think, put a little cover on them or something. Our Marines just took fire all day. Think about that. Roll that video again, guys. You're talking about thousands of these Higgins vehicles filled with thousands of troops coming up to an ocean front. There it is. And they had no cover on them. And the Nazi snipers were in those bunkers shooting down on them, just fish in a barrel. And so the Rangers had to get up there and throw grenades in and take those bunkers out. You had to have nerves of steel. That's why we call them the greatest generation, William.
Well, my father-in-law was a pilot there at D-Day, and he said that the ocean ran with blood. There were 9,000 killed or wounded that day. And the Operation Overlord went on for the next 2.5 months. Over 2 million soldiers arrived on those shores. Paris was quickly liberated August 25th, 1944. And the Nazi machine was pushed further back. And then after the Battle of the Bulge, they were pushed all the way back to Berlin. And one interesting piece of information is the World War II Memorial in Washington, D.C. did not have any mention of God. And I sent out a daily email called American Minute. And one of my friends, Chris Long of Ohio Christian Alliance, saw that, and he contacted his Senator Rob Portman, his Congressman Bill Johnson. He got a bill passed to put Franklin Roosevelt's D-Day prayer at the World War II Memorial in Washington, D.C. It's about 50 yards from the big memorial. It's called the Circle of Remembrance. It's the only place on the Washington Mall dedicated to a prayer. And Franklin Roosevelt said, "My fellow Americans, last night when I spoke about the fall of Rome, I knew at that moment that the troops of the United States and our allies were crossing the channel in another and great operation. I ask you to join with me in prayer. Almighty God, our sons, pride of our nation, this day have set upon a mighty endeavor, a struggle to preserve our republic, our religion, and our civilization." And of course, what religion was it? Well, he passed out millions of Gideon's New Testaments and Book of Psalms to all the soldiers. He wrote the foreword to it. As Commander-in-Chief, I take pleasure in commending the reading of the Bible to all who serve in the armed forces of the United States. It's a powerful event, and we need to remember it.
Yes, we do.
I was in Europe several years ago, and they said they do not teach World War II history because, it could be offending to some people. And so kids are growing up not even knowing that the war took place.
Well, William, that's Europe. We know what snowflakes they are. That's why we're not part of them anymore for 250 years, because we're not snowflakes in this country. William Federer, historian, author, thank you for helping us to commemorate those brave souls that fought that battle on the beaches of Normandy 81 years ago today. on D-Day. God bless you, sir. Take care.
Thank you.
Yep.